Okay, what would you do if your fiance had a unfortunate mishap with a remote control lawnmower, and only her head was in pristine condition? If you're like the plot of Frankenhooker, you would take that head, you would preserve it, and you would then go out and do the process of harvesting body parts from ladies of the evening. Primarily Zorro's girls. Yes, there's a pimp named Zorro who actually carves the Z insignia to his women. So, main character goes out, begins to measure a bunch of ladies of the evening, so you harvest their body parts. Has a slight change of heart, he doesn't really want to go through the process of, killing them. So he gives them the money that we plan on giving them. Then they find a 1-gallon bag of drugs. And they begin to take the drugs, which begins to make them explode. Yes, so I never thought I would say you get to see exploding, druggy ladies of the evening. The explosions are not done well. You can tell it's a mannequin exploding. This Frankenhooker is occasionally referred to as like the king of the B movies. You get some ridiculously bad acting, bad special effects. The plot is super over the top. And of course, since it's going to a lady of the evening establishment, there's a lot of nudity. So, he takes all the random body parts. These are mannequin parts. And he begins to reconstruct his fiancée. Now, of course, being comprised primarily of ladies of the evening, she begins to go out and kind of try to ply her craft. So she sounds like a woman who also has Tourette's. Because she's walking around. Do you want a date? You want a date? It'll cost you. You want a date? You would know you're having fun? Want a good time? And you're gonna find it to be hilarious for about 30 seconds to a minute. But as it keeps on going, it gets really, really annoying. And of course, when she finally does ply her trade, Batman also explodes because of the electricity used to create her body. And it's another really bad explosion special effect. Zorro essentially finds out that this woman is comprised of all of his women after he punches her in the face, which knocks her head back, which makes lightning shoot out. The scientist takes her body back and begins to, put her back together again. Which is then when Zorro comes out. Yes, Zorro followed the scientist home and cuts his head off. As Zorro begins to entice Frankenhooker, wow, that's just... I don't know what's when they're writing that. And then Zorro tempts Frankenhooker with a small baggie full of drugs. But in the process of doing that, it makes the lay-down freezer full of Zorro's ladies of the evening's body parts to quiver. And then it knocks over. And then the bizarre cavalcade of randomly stuck together body parts. Like there's a face that's being held up by a couple of hands and arms. There is a torso that is inverted and has feet and a mouth above where the belly button is. And they all kind of begin to attack him because he has drugs. And then they drag his body into the freezer. Yes, so The misshapen randomly put together parts of ex-druggy ladies of the evening drag their pimp Zorro into a freezer. And this is, of course, when you get to the main ending of the movie. The doctor wakes up. He says, "What's wrong? What happened?" Frankenhooker then explains to him, "Well, I was able to save your head, but all of your experiments were done using women's bodies. So you have the dude's head on a woman's body. And it is a horrendous looking body, and you can easily tell that he is sitting behind it doing this, and the body's attached like here. And he's got someone else's arms doing the whole touching the mannequin body." This movie, if you're a huge B-movie fan, this movie's actually worth watching. If you want to see a slightly better version of this, that has maybe a little more horror element to it, that'll be tomorrow's movie, The Reanimator.